Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cherry the Geek TV. I'm Joe Vanourney. Today we are joined by Mark Evestaff. He's the executive producer of a brand new Peanut special called Snoopy Presents There's No Place Like Home Snoopy, which premieres globally on Apple TV starting Friday, July 31st. Mark, welcome to Cherry the Geek TV.
Hey, thanks so much, Joe.
Set up the special for people. What's the premise of There's No Place Like Home Snoopy?
So the premise is Snoopy's iconic doghouse is accidentally sold off, and Snoopy and Charlie Brown have to venture out to find it.
Talk about developing the story idea, the core theme of what home really means. How do you settle in on that idea and using Snoopy's doghouse as a catalyst and emotional anchor to explore that idea?
Yeah, it really was. This was an idea that we had. I had the good fortune of being able to work on the Snoopy show, and this was an idea that came about while we were working on the Snoopy show. It just felt like too big an idea to tell in 7 minutes. So it was something we sort of held on to for a while. And then when we had the opportunity from Apple TV and WildBrain to make something longer format, this was the idea we knew we wanted to do. And then because of the how iconic it is, and how Snoopy's relationship with his doghouse, it being not just his home but also this gateway to his imagination. And so not only does he lose his home, but he loses a sort of a piece of himself when it goes missing. And so that was a great theme to explore, and then to work with Charlie Brown to go and find it.
There's a great segment in the special where Charlie Brown takes Snoopy to the hardware store, I don't know, a doghouse store, and they go to look at new dog houses. None of them are quite the same as the one he lost. They're all kind of wacky in their own unique way. Talk about that segment and coming up with these ideas and different styles for the new dog houses, and what visual goals did you and your team set out when designing them?
Yeah, good question. Because when we work on this show, it really is. It's sort of a little different than the other shows I've worked on, where they're sort of segmented. And as the writing happens, the storyboarding happens, the animation happens. This we really, because of the original medium of the comic strip, we really wanted to take a collaborative approach. So, for instance, our directors are very involved in the story process right from the get-go, and we also bring in the board artists. So very involved. And so that there's a back and forth that happens there. We don't work in silos. We work collaboratively, collectively. And in those cases, specifically in that case, it's like best idea wins. And again, making sure we're not doing anything, too outside the brand. It does have to have a foothold, in sort of Schultz's world. And so that's sort of how we approach the story. And that's how we approach some of those segments as well.
Were there any ideas that you guys came up with that you ended up not using that
Yes, I can't. I probably there's yes. Because again, it is really something that, like if there's anything, for instance, there's a couple sort of ground rules of like, no technology past the 70s, so we're not going to do anything too modern. But if it's something we can, um, like modern architecture, so it has to sort of fit within the brand and can't be too outside.
Charlie Brown drops everything to help Snoopy and help his dog. How do you balance between keeping the special light and funny for kids, yet leaning into that deep emotional sincerity that adults and longtime Peanuts fans have grown used to and love about Peanuts?
Yeah, that is what we aspire to. That is the core of the brand, and it's something. It just comes. I feel like you know. It's just through like distilling what works, distilling what feels authentic, and not feeling too forced, and staying true to the original, both whether it's through the character design, the way they move, the way they act, the way they talk, really having a firm place in that foundation. Because it's like you don't have to change too much. It's like what Mr. Schultz gave us was wonderful, so we really just want to represent it as authentically as we can. And also, again, we've got an incredible team of artists on here, and they get to put their imprint on it too. And so it really is having, and they all are fans first, which is the wonderful thing and unique thing about this show. Is like you have working on a brand where people have this like love affair with it already coming in. It's very rare and unique, and we treasure it.
Music has always been the heartbeat of Peanuts throughout its television history, right? Can you talk about working with Alan Stone on the original song Home, Where the Heart Found Me, and how you use that track to elevate the climax of the special?
Yeah, it was when we were that was also sort of new for me, at this level to be working with that kind of talent, a great opportunity. And when Alan's song came in as a demo, it sort of blew us away, and so much so that we went and dug back into some of the sequences where it appears, and we sort of bolstered them and sort of made them fit um, the themes of the song as well. Of course, the show was already leaning that way, but it just gave us another opportunity to really dig in and marry the track with the visuals. So it was a great opportunity. It's such a perfect song that still has some elements of even, instrumentation in terms of like the original, which is also the key to the rest of the score, which was, again, it's a combination of our jazz trio and a full like 50-piece orchestra. And so, again, having, there's just not a lot of shows that, again, have the history, but also are given the resources to be able to pull that off, because you can, it's one thing is to say it, but then to be able to actually have the resources to pull it off is a completely entirely different thing. So yeah, very lucky.
Snoopy's an incredibly expressive character, but he doesn't speak dialogue, so he carries most of the emotional weight of this special. What are the challenges of designing him and having him carry all of that emotional weight through pantomimes and express the expressiveness of a beagle?
Yeah, that's an incredible. It's an incredible challenge, and it's one that our artists are always up for it. And that comes down to, just there's no shortcuts around it. It's like, also, listen, the shortcuts are that we had this treasure trove of almost 18,000 strips to pull from. So in terms of the posing and expression, but it's a bit of a different world when you move into an animated medium, and um, it just takes a lot of drawing and a lot of expressions and posing to get it right. And then sometimes it's just you can hold the perfect pose for a while, because sometimes you don't want too many things moving. So certainly a big challenge, but also one where something where we really honed our skills on the Snoopy show. And oftentimes it's a matter of pulling back, and not pushing something too far, of like, just hitting that right pose and the right expression at the right time. And we have one of the best teams around in order to pull that off.
We're almost out of time. As we wrap up here, Peanuts just celebrated its 75th anniversary last year. What do you think it is about Snoopy and the Peanuts gang that keeps it going strong for so many decades? And what can we still learn from this group of characters in today's modern world?
I feel like it's the relatability of these characters. I think we can see ourselves in almost all of them. I certainly do. Um, and so I also think it's just, Mr. Schultz was a fantastic designer and an artist. And so, these little kids, carrying around these big heads full of expressions, and carrying the weight of the world around, is something that is timeless. And I feel like, in terms of what we can learn, I feel like it is that resilience. It's that idea that, like Charlie Brown keeps getting, like, he's never going to kick the football, yet he keeps trying and he keeps attempting to. And so I think that resilience rings true, and spreading a little bit more kindness can't hurt either. And I think that's, finding your community and finding your people. I think that's the that even when things are taken from us, how do you pick up the pieces, put them back together, and move on? And that's what this special is about.
Really quickly, one more last question here. Apple TV's been the new home of both the classic Peanut specials and the new Peanut specials. When I was growing up, and probably when you were growing up, our first exposure to Peanuts, besides those classic specials, was Sunday morning comic strips. And I don't think today's kids are getting that experience. I don't think the newspapers play much of a role in their life. Do you feel any pressure as a producer, knowing that you and your specials are now maybe the gateway, alongside those classic specials, of introducing these characters to the new generation of kids?
I think so. I think I probably felt more pressure back when we started, because the weight felt, a little overwhelming. But now that we've had a chance, and truthfully, the amount of talent that they're willing to put behind this puts me at ease. I certainly wish that we still had. There's nothing I love more than like getting up, reading the newspaper, collecting comics, cartoonists, like that medium, unfortunately, is not what it was. So, yeah, but in terms of like, it's a fantastic privilege, and I feel very lucky to be able to work with this insanely talented crew to be able to pull these things off. So, yes, pressure, but pressure I would get up every morning and look forward to.
It's a fantastic special. You can see Snoopy and Charlie Brown and the rest of the Peanuts gang in Snoopy Presents There's No Place Like Home, Snoopy, premiering globally on Apple TV starting July 31st. Mark, thank you so much for chatting with us today on Cherry the Geek TV.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe.
Bye-bye.
Snoopy, do you have anything you'd like to sell?
What could a dog have to sell at a yard sale? Attention shoppers, we're open for business.
50 cents? What am I, a millionaire?
All sales final.
Sally, you sold Snoopy's doghouse?
Are you certain? I'm pretty sure I heard dollhouse. Ow!
Snoopy, I'm sure we'll find your doghouse. Why don't we just go shopping for a new one? This one's festive. Too contemporary. I'm surprised they can even call this one a house. I know your doghouse means the world to you. We're going to get it back. We're in this together. Why can't I have a normal dog?